All right. Welcome, everybody, to the TNT Podcast. My name is Darren. This is Sam. This is Tuna. And we are the best tech podcast / news service there is in the entire world. Everybody comes to us when they want to know all of the latest leaks, breaking news, when they want to know Roddy's OnlyFans website link, and they come to us. And we have the news. We have the information. So how we going, guys? How's things?
Good.
Very good.
Good. Sam, how's the knee, buddy? I know it's been a while since we talked about your knee on air.
Knee's good. I can get to 130 degrees bending on my own and 0 degrees straightening, so that's good. It just there's some swelling. Apparently that takes a while to go away. So I'll go back in July, and he said I guess they can aspirate it, they can drain it if they need it. So that's pretty good, man. I'm walking around now pretty good and don't need a brace or crutches or anything. So I guess I'm on path. Yeah, I guess it's a 4 to 6 month recovery. So far so good.
So that 20K marathon is just around the corner.
Sure, I didn't run those before, but I guess I can try now. I got a bionic knee. I still got another bum one, so that's cool. But yeah, I'll give it a try. What the hell? I might have to replace the other one. So who knows?
Yeah, I know that's usually the case, right? Because one's always compensating for the other. So it's you kind of you're forced to kind of do one and then shortly after the other. But
right,
it happens. It happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. So, and Tuna, I noticed you've taken some sage advice from us last week, and I noticed that you've got a new pair of headphones on there, which might look slightly familiar to some of our viewers and listeners at home. Why don't you tell us about what you got on your head today there, Tuna?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. No.
Well, they're fucking massive, so they're a bit hard to miss for those of you who are listening.
So, Dyson, the vacuum cleaner company, the air purifier company, the people that make fans and hair dryers for $1,000 have also released $1,000 headphones in 2 different colors. This is the blue ones, and yes, they do have a Bane-looking mask. If you can hear me now, it's kind of muffled. It even sounds funny when I talk through it. But so right now the fan's going. Yes, so you guys can hear the noise when I get close, right?
Yep.
So there's a little air coming through here. All I feel is so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. The sound is fantastic, but these things weigh like 1.5 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you wear them for more than an hour, that's pretty heavy. And this thing right here, I mean, if you watch MKBHD video, I think he was a little too harsh. I mean, they are pretty decent headphones. And the price obviously is, what does Flossie Carter always say? Too goddamn high.
TGH,
I mean, obviously, way too much. But they're built like a tank. If they would have came out and said, hey, $450, I bet they would have sold a lot more. But I don't think that's the goal here. I think it's just to get their name on something else and say what they can do.
I don't know. At $450, I don't think I would buy them. I
wouldn't either. I'm going to come up.
First of all, it's too heavy, so that's just functionally a problem. Right. When you put that thing up, I keep thinking, I used to be the guy who put on the mask. Right? It's like it's got this Bane vibe, and I'm not getting it. Yes. And then, so it's just. And then also just they don't have a very slim profile. I mean, the color's cool. It's a very Dyson look, right?
I mean, they make your head look huge. But
it's definitely they're not a svelte profile. They're obviously something you can see very easily, right? Yeah, I don't know. So you at $450, I just think that would be the kind of tech you'd buy.
I'm just saying,
a conversation piece for people. If you can kind of like, those are cool. Yeah, but
the guy who gave them to me said the same thing. He's like, I'm not really going to go out in public with these, and I'm not going to make a video because it's going to embarrass me. I don't give a crap. But my thing about it is they are huge. But if they were priced at $450, I could see someone maybe saying, I'll give them a shot. At $950, I mean, you've got to be desperate. It was just funny if you guys watch MKBHD video on him. He railed him, not terribly, but pretty bad. Had a doctor on there saying how
the doctor to dispute it. He was fucking. He went after him.
Yeah, and then the other thing is then you saw Justine, who was like, "Oh, it's fantastic! I love them. I'm on a plane, and everyone's looking at me, but that's okay." So it's like 2 different things of the spectrum here. So and for $1,000, this thing right here, can you hear that? That is cheap plastic. Yeah. That is plastic. But I mean, I don't think I even wear these out in public. To be honest with you, I don't wear headphones like this usually outside. I usually wear earbuds, but I don't know.
Listen, Tuna, I think you're missing a golden opportunity to do a live YouTube video where you just go to your local Starbucks with that shit on and just get reaction videos.
Don't worry.
Reaction videos. Yeah.
I've got my action cam ready, and I'm actually planning on doing it. My wife doesn't want to be seen around me.
Yeah, right. I don't blame her.
So I got to go somewhere like no one knows me, like in Columbus or, somewhere further away from where I'm at now, and just like, hey, look at me. I'm walking around.
Yeah.
Maybe Canada. My name's Darren. I'm from Canada.
Listen, I'm sure I haven't seen anybody wearing them here, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Like,
if you see anybody wearing these, you're not going to see anybody wearing these. Come on.
No. I don't think for $950. I mean, look, I said this last week. They either have to be the fucking greatest thing ever for air purifying, HEPA filter certified, for people to be, raving about them, or they need to be the world's most amazing headphones. And I don't think they're either. And I think that's where Dyson went wrong. I mean,
proof of concept. They stuck. Yeah, that's a proof of concept. They stuck these little mini compressors into headphones that also play sound pretty decently. But yeah, besides that, I wouldn't wear. They're super soft. I mean these things, but they make your head sweat.
Now, what would happen if you smoked weed
and just like that,
I
lost all my sound.
Smoke into the air. Oh, hang on. I think we lost Tuna.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, is he gone?
No, he's still there.
Oh, we're talking. He can't hear us, but we're talking.
I can hear you through my... Yeah.
We lost him. He's back. He's going back to the old faithful, I think. There we go. What I was going to ask...
I'm totally done with those things.
Well, Tuna, what I was going to ask you is if you smoked weed, you blew the smoke out, would it filter it back in through the headphones and then blow it back into your mouth? Like it would be like a
I don't think so, because this is the front right here. So this is where the air comes out, and this is where it sucks it in. So I highly doubt that. I mean, if you inhaled, put the mask down, and then put it sideways, and then went your head through it, maybe you look really stupid. I think you meant it's not a good reason to buy it. See, even Sam's like, I'm out of here too.
Yeah, Sam just booted it. Oh, there we go. I almost wonder if someone's tried that or thought about trying that, because there's someone at home who's just like, yeah, sure.
Ooh, sorry. A little fork goes in my browser there. That was unfortunate. Sorry about that.
I know what you did. You hit purchase on that Dyson headphone.
Yeah, I was looking them up.
No, it's okay. Yeah, that's good.
So I know we usually use our own headphones here. Now, Tuna, you were talking about cost last week, or cost.
Yeah, KOS. I say cost. I don't know if that's true
cost,
or not. But.
Sure. Now, what are just to start the show here? I mean, I think a lot of people would like to know, what are your go-to headphones when you want to listen to music in particular? Like, what's the go-to?
I have so many. It depends on what I'm doing. When I go for a run, it's the Samsung earbuds, the Pro 2s. Just because they work with my Galaxy Watch. I would say all do, I guess, but works best with that. And they sound good, and they actually stay in my ear. For me, it's not so much sound. I mean, sound's important, but it's also fit. So, like I told you guys before, I also have the OnePlus buds, which sound really good, but I can't get a damn thing to stay in my ear. And then I alternate between. I have some Master and Dynamics. I think the something 80s. They came with the if you guys remember the Samsung Qualcomm phone for insiders that came out a few years back.
Oh yes, yeah.
So they sent me that, and they came with those headphones. And the phone's been long gone, but the headphones were amazing, and they sound fantastic. I never had a Master and Dynamic brand before until then, and it sounds amazing. So I have a bunch of OnePlus, Samsung. I have some Sonys, the newest ones, whatever the 1000 XM5 GFLs or whatever. But earbud wise, it's Samsung or Wise typically. I do have I'm not Wise. What do I say Wise for? OnePlus. I do have some Wise earbuds, but headphones, these are about the only ones I have anymore. I got rid of my Sonys. I don't use these very much, but for streaming. Well, and now I've got these amazing things. So
now you've got the Dyson ones. They're going to replace them all. Like, I mean,
well, yeah, I can use them as a vacuum cleaner. So my wife's like, "Why is your head on the floor?" I'm like, "I'm using them as vacuum cleaner."
Well, actually, let me ask you a quick question. So you were saying that the air filtration system is in the actual headphones. Is that correct?
Correct.
Like
these, yes.
The compressor, I guess you call them?
Yes, compressor, yep.
So
whatever,
you hear it?
So
can you hear it?
So if you're not listening to any sound and you put the visor on, you hear it kick in and obviously you feel that cold air in your face. But I think when I had music playing, and I made a quick video of this, but when I first turned them on, I had them all the way up because the phone I use, for some reason the Bluetooth isn't very loud. I need to pair them with a Samsung or something. But either way, I didn't hear anything. And then the active noise cancellation is pretty damn good on those things. But they're so big and they're so heavy around your ear that it's already canceling half the noise anyways. But once I turn it down to a reasonable volume, you could hear a hum of the fans or the compressor spinning. And my only concern with that is, or my confusion was, I don't know if I'm hearing the sound or feeling the vibration, or if it's a combination of both. But it definitely wasn't terrible. But I think if you're on a long flight for 7 hours, it might drive you nuts. But if you're wearing these on a long flight, you're going to get a lot of questions as well. Yes. So you may not have them on very long. So
what's the battery life? Do we know?
According to them, it's 50 hours without with no noise canceling on, but with them on, it's only about 4 hours.
Right. Okay. So
and in the app, the app tells you how long you have left. It's so stupid. Yeah. And your filter life. I don't.
Right. Okay.
You have a filter life, just like your furnace and everything else. You got to replace every summer. Yeah. So
it's yet another thing that's going to be a pain in the ass to buy filters for and replace.
And Dyson will get your money for that. So
yes,
it all works out for them.
Yeah. Interesting. And Sam, what about you, buddy? I don't know what your earphones of choice are, but if you had to pick one for just listening to music, what would you go for?
These wired ones. These are KZ ES4s. So I bought them off Amazon for like $25. These are the best $30 earbuds you'll ever buy. KZs.
Wow.
I bought them. Actually, Juan Carlos Bagnell years ago mentioned them, and I was like, I'm going to go on Amazon. And so these are the KZ ES4s. I had a pair, and my dog chewed up ones. I bought another one. They're like $25. They're wired. Perfect, man. They sound great for that. The only other earbuds I have is my Pixel Bud A series. I have those. That's why I usually, if I'm in bed, I'll listen to those because I can roll over and stuff. So podcasts, stuff like that. And then the only over-the-ear ones I have are my. This is stupid. Why did I just show you that? That doesn't make any sense. So the only other thing I have as far as my headphones are my Surface headphones too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
These are awesome. I love them. I bought them. Yeah, I love them.
I wanted to get a pair that's so bad.
They're 16-hour battery life. I use them for my team's calls at work. I mean, it's awesome. When I want to listen to actual over-the-ear headphones, this is what I go to. So that's it. I mean, I don't have anything else. I have a pair of earbuds, a pair of wired, and then a pair of like over-the-ear. I just don't have, I'd like to get eventually like a studio grade set of cans. They're like, maybe $500-$600 for something like that and to listen to. But yeah, those sound pretty good. I mean, I don't listen to a lot of like lossless audio and stuff. So really, these are pretty good. I mean, and for $30 or whatever these things are on Amazon, these are unbeatable. It's like a KZs. I would highly recommend if you want a good pure, just wireless wired earbuds that are pretty solid that you can plug into like a phone or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they sound amazing considering the price point.
So for me, I don't usually wear over the head style headphones, but the ones that I do have are actually from a brand Philips. So they're called the H9505. They're hybrid active noise canceling. They're very good. I only use them when I listen to music, and that's very rarely, when I'm walking, running, etc. I know Delvon's listening on the podcast right now. He's a big fan of the Liberty 3 Pros from Anker, that's exactly what I'm wearing right now. Right now, they're dirt cheap on Amazon. I think they're around about $60 to $70 right now. And I'll be honest with you, like I've tried, as somebody who reviews products, for a living, I've reviewed them all, like the Samsung Buds 2, the Pixel Buds Pro, and I've yet to find a pair of earphones that fit as comfortable. And I know, Tuna, you had a couple of issues with these ones, I believe, with the fitment, but the sound quality is phenomenal.
They're pretty good. And
for $70, I mean, like they sound better than the Pixel Buds Pro. They sound better than the Samsung Buds 2 Pro. I haven't tried any like high-end, earphone types. I've had, some, over-the-ear headphones, but these are even better than the Philips. And those Philips ones are, $250, $260. So, I mean, it just goes to show, I guess it just depends on the person who's wearing them, but also, with headphones, you can find, like Sam said, really good earphones, really cheap. And I think that's kind of, what it's all about. I mean, Delvon just put in the chat here that it's his favorite buds, and I have to agree. I know.
Now, have you tried the mode where you put them in your ear and it like does a scan of your ear to give you the best sound?
Yeah.
I did it a few times, but I always felt like they weren't in my ear right, so it didn't come out right to me. And you asked about that was
yeah,
I
I did it too. I had a pair of actually the only other earbuds I ever had, the ones I had before I bought the Pixel, but the A series, where I had a pair of Jabra. I had the 65Ts and the 75Ts. I love those. I would still, the battery finally gave up. They wouldn't charge anymore on the 65Ts. I thought for me they fit perfectly. They were perfectly snug, and I thought they sounded great. Now they're a little pricey. I think I paid like $130 for the 65s and a little bit more for the 75Ts. But I forgot. I also have those aftershocks, the bone conduction. I have those when I walk around because it's open.
So you can hear.
And it's great for. And I don't really listen to music on them, but I do listen like either audio podcasts, Audible books, or spoken word. I really don't listen to a lot of music, but I have the aftershocks. I forgot about my daughter when she comes over. She loves those things. Like when she's like putting on headphones, that's all she goes for. She just goes right. And I have them over here on the table, and she uses them more than I do. They sat there for a couple of weeks. Every time she comes and visit, they go right over her head.
Sure
I just had to get them to her because she'll lose them in 20 minutes of having them. So,
and my issue is I have to have an earbud for everything. So like these are Wise headphones. I think I paid $50 for them. They sound fantastic for what I paid for them, and they work. And I actually have them wired right now, not Bluetooth. Yeah. When I mow the lawn, I've got to have it with ANC. Well, I don't have to, but I've noticed it makes the mowing much better. But you guys, I talked about nothing before. They had the ear sticks. Not the ear sticks were like my go-to just to go for a walk or, with my dog or something. I make a phone call. I sound decent and they stick in your ear and they sound really good for what they are. So you don't have to spend. The moral of the story for me is that you don't have to spend $350 to get a good sound. I mean, if you like Samsung Buds Pro 2, you can get them on sale for $100, $120. If you want nothing, you can get them for pretty much nothing. So, I mean,
I don't like the stems. I think there as an aesthetic, they look goofy as hell. I don't like the stems sticking out. And plus, now do they seal like pretty well?
Tuna, do those seal pretty good?
Which one?
They kind of like.
Oh, you're talking to me.
I would have thought I got. Remember, I thought about getting the. I thought about getting the Surface, earbuds, but they don't seal in your ear, so there's like audio leak and stuff like that.
The ear sticks do not. The ear sticks just sit in your ear, and that's why I like when I'm walking the dog, so I can hear things around me. But if I want to have like noise cancellation, I gotta have them. I can't use them.
And that's why I use the aftershocks. Those are the essential. Like where I can, because then I have nothing occluding my ear. Then I can just put them on, and I can walk around. Yeah, and I think
these are the cost ones. Cool. These are the cost ones that they sent me, and they're $50. I think new.
Yeah,
I mean they don't have ANC. A lot of new buds. You open up the case.
At $50, you can't really expect that. Honestly, it's fair.
My biggest issue is for me. I've used Bluetooth devices all the time, but when you open up your case, a lot of times you'll say your previously paired headphones are available, or you have the little picture of it saying, "Hey, it connects." Yeah. These do not have that, so you actually have to open it up. It'll be flashing. You have to go to Bluetooth settings and hit pair,
manually pair. Yeah.
To me, I don't care because it's $50. But there was somebody on Twitter who said I can't get these to pair. It's because they were trying to open it and just have it connect. Yeah. It wasn't working that way. Now, those things are $50. They sound okay, but I think I would use those to go running with because there's no ANC, so you can hear a little bit outside noise, and they're only $50. So if you do lose one or break one, you're not out $250 like the Sony's.
Yeah.
But they sound good. Koss does have a sound. He sent me a bunch of these over-the-ear ones, and I tried these retro Porta Pros. Holy crap. They sound really good. They're open air. They don't cuff around your ear. And they have to use like these adapters. This is a lightning cable one, but he gave me USB. And it was amazing the way those over the head. And they were wired. I was very impressed. I was not expecting much out of those. So
well, I mean, again, wired's always going to be a little bit better than wireless, right? Because I mean, you've got Bluetooth technology which can fail. I just had it up on screen a second ago.
I saw these. Are those the anchors?
So this is I actually just got these in this week. Okay. So these are actually not the Liberty 3 Pros. They're actually just been released. They're called the P20Is. They're about $40.
Wow.
$40 Canadian, which is probably what, $20 in the States.
I think it's free.
25,
I think it's free. I think that's free.
Yeah,
here.
Free, yeah. But I mean, the sound out of these for an even lesser price, like we're talking Bluetooth 5.3, 30 hours playtime,
Wow.
massive 10mm drivers, water
5.3.
resistance. Like honestly, these are some of the best that I've reviewed as of this last couple of weeks here. And I would argue if you love like the stem types, like those are a bit different design than the ones I have on now. They're actually, for the price, amazing. Can one of you tell me what that is like on Amazon.com? I don't know if they have them even on there, but P20Is.
I can look it up real quick. Yeah, give me a second.
I'm just curious to see what the price is, because I mean, at $40 is very cheap here in Canada, and I imagine it's even cheaper there where you guys are, and it has a $5 coupon as well, right?
You said it's Soundcore?
It's the Soundcore P20i.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. 29.
$29.
Ooh, but you can save 5% if it was a coupon right now. So it's even cheaper
there you
than
go.
that.
So it's what, $24 maybe, give or take?
No,
Yeah.
well, 5%. Yeah, so I mean, a few
$10,
dollars.
$3,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
you're basically sub 30. I mean, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, and again,
And you can get them tomorrow, which is kind of, and they're
Exactly.
also Amazon choice apparently. So I mean, they've got really good reviews. They look pretty. I mean, honestly, if I had to replace the buds, I mean, I don't know. Then they got the A20i, which is I guess what you have, right?
I have the Liberty 3 Pro.
Okay, so there's an Anchor A20i that look like yours are basically the stemless. Same price,
Right,
but
right.
it's the
And
stemless.
what I've noticed when they have a stem, that's when they're an earbud that actually fits in the canal, and then there's a stem. That's when I kind of have problems because it kind of doesn't sit in my ear right.
But
But
it doesn't make a seal.
the only issue I'd have is they're $29. You cannot complain about them at all. You really can't.
No, seriously, yeah.
I mean,
the price is right. Yeah.
The only thing I would say is
I would
10mm drivers. 10mm drivers probably ain't going to give you a whole lot of full sound. It's probably only one driver, but most people don't give a crap about all that. You know, I mean,
exactly.
You can,
I mean, as long as it's loud, right?
as long as it sounds good. I mean,
again,
I'm happy.
And you shouldn't. If you're spending $30 and you go, I'm spending $30, but I really want full, vibrant sound quality, then you need to check yourself because you need to be outside that price range.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, you need to buy the Dyson headphones at that point then.
That's exactly
I mean, I'm
right.
just saying, it's like, but really, for $30, if they sound pretty decent, I mean, I think that's a pretty good deal.
I agree.
28 to 30 hours of battery life, that's pretty nice.
And Father's Day is coming up, so get your father one of those.
Exactly. Yeah, perfect Father's Day. Yeah. Well, listen, guys, I was hoping Roddy would be here today because I wanted to talk. So just last couple of days, I know we don't really talk cars that often, mostly electric cars, but so Ford and Tesla have just signed an agreement where you can use the Tesla superchargers to charge up the Ford EV cars. Mm-hmm. And it leads me to wonder and think, is this the sign of what's to come? So basically, I mean, the infrastructure for the Tesla charging stations is already there. It's in a lot of countries already, Canada, United States, the UK. And now, these companies which are playing catch up, like Ford, Toyota, all these other ones, they're realizing, well, if we can just leverage the charging technology from Tesla, which is already there, you can actually charge up your Ford on one of their Tesla supercharging stations. So what do you guys think about that? Is this the beginning of Tesla's dominance in
so you're saying Ford and Tesla have signed an agreement to interchange their charging stations or to use Tesla as the main charging station?
So basically, Tesla charging station, they will give you hardware and allow to plug in. And really right now, all you have for Ford is you have your Lightning and your Mustang Mach-E, which I would argue is not a Mustang, but that's another argument for another show.
So you still get to use Ford's network they already have with other companies, but they'll give you the hardware to charge on a Tesla charger.
Yeah, so I have like an adapter they'll give you. And then also when you go to a Tesla supercharger with this little, I guess, a piece of hardware, it will accept and allow us.
Oh, I did read this. Okay. Here's what I say. Tesla's been out longer. They've got the infrastructure so far. Yeah. It's only going to get bigger. I don't think it's an area of dominance. I mean, it could be, I guess, that you could look at, market share, whatever. But
yeah, I mean, they're two massive car companies, right?
But my thing is with Ford, that's going to help me as a customer. Now I don't have to rely on their crappy, hey, is this, because I heard horror stories of you driving your Lightning and you go to charge up somewhere and the charge doesn't even work and they don't tell you that. Now, that's going to happen no matter what. But I think Tesla's a more controlled in that respect. So I think it's just going to help the end consumer. They're going to say, hey, not only can I go here and charge, I can go to the Tesla charger too and not have to wait. It's like being able to go to any gas station without having to worry about it. You're going to have more options. I think it's a great thing.
So one of the things that I think is the big issue here is that there are two like charging standards, if you will. So basically, Tesla uses what's called the NACS, which is the North American Charging Standard, and then Ford and all these other companies are using what's called the CCS, or the Combined Charging System, which is a kind of like a global thing. Now, I understand. I mean, I know the infrastructure is not there to charge every type of EV that's out there, because otherwise you're just going to have this fucking crazy scenario of like a Tesla supercharger, an EV charger for Ford, an EV charger for Toyota. Like I can just imagine the shit show of like, what charging stations will look like. I think what the push is here for that is going for a global standard. Now, what I was getting at is, Tesla's been around a lot longer than some of these other guys when it comes to charging and electric cars. So, is this the right play by Ford? Because, I mean, they realize we don't have to spend any money. We have to throw a couple of bucks into an adapter for our current lineup. And
they'll have to spend money, because that, I guarantee you, Tesla's not doing that for free.
Oh yeah, well, the license, of course, but I mean,
to build out infrastructures, clearly, it's basically the same thing. It's HD, DVD, and Blu-ray.
Yeah,
it's Betamax and VHS. There's always two or three standards, and they always in the consumer space they always homogenize to essentially one standard. Right. Yeah. Essentially, in the phone space, eventually Lightning will be not a thing. It'll be USB-C. Right. So, this makes sense. I mean, and like I said, but the problem with Ford and these other companies is they are traditionally an ICE company that's transitioning. Yeah. So they can't possibly move as quickly as Tesla. Rivian, Polestar, these are all EV companies. Right. And Tesla is, when you think Tesla, it's EV. You say Ford, GM, Chevy, Toyota, Honda, and really Toyota doesn't have a real strong EV presence.
They don't want to either.
Is kind of their CEO is not 100% sold on EV technology at this point. And also remember, Toyota is still leveraging the Toyota Mirai, which is a hydrogen-based vehicle. So that's still Honda in play for them. Too. So they're still trying to figure out whether that's viable, which I don't think it will be. It's a shame, because I honestly, if you were asking me, Toyota's leveraging either hydrogen or hybrid, right? They're not going fully. That's why they're coming out the Prius. Toyota believes that right now, for the next 15 or so years, the hybrid technology is the way to go. The gas electric hybrid. So they're not totally sold. But I think it's a good thing for Ford, because it makes sense, because it saves them money. But also too, Ford's trying to see how these lineups develop. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't buy a Lightning because you can't tow shit with it. The whole reason of having a truck is to tow something. Yeah. Well, I've heard stories of people try to tow a camper and they get 70 miles and it's out of jack. Well, if you're towing a camper, you probably want to go outside of your own city to go camping, right? If you can't even get it to the campsite, what the hell does it matter? What are you going to do? So,
you go to the side of the road and you just camp on the side of the road.
But that's been my argument for years is a lot of people who are buying these larger trucks and SUVs aren't buying them for what trucks are designed for, to haul load shit. They're doing it basically because it's a larger vehicle, right? And it's just a truck. Right. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, there's a lot of people who I know who own trucks. They've never put really anything of any substance in the bed, like gravel, rocks, mulch, right? Some furniture maybe, but really they put their gas grill, right, or whatever, or the stuff they bought from IKEA in the back of their truck, their couch, right? And that's all they're really doing. They're really not using a truck for what it's really designed for, which is basically hauling material and stuff like that. So I guess it makes sense, but man, it sucked to have a Lightning and then tow your camper and it'd be dead in 70 miles. That sucks.
Right now, it's like it's a trend. I mean, I saw one Lightning over at the local dealership.
I was just going to say,
it's a nice truck. I mean, it's basically a truck with an EV, and the EV touches. You could tell it's an EV. It's cool. But is that enough to get me to buy it? Not for $70,000, $80,000, $100,000. Like Sam said, you can't tow. What's the point? You can go get a diesel that saves. I mean, well, whatever you want.
And that's why people wouldn't buy the Lightning, because if you're doing the kind of, I mean, that's why people who are buying a Ford F-150 as a work truck, you wouldn't even consider this, right? It's really, and then for fleet vehicles, they're not there yet either. Somebody's got to majorly change in the industry, because again, if you're buying 150 trucks for fleet, why are you can't afford a Lightning? I mean, if you figure it, even if they're $60,000 a unit, right? You're talking $600,000 where you can go buy a fleet of F-150 ICE vehicles, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a year old, and you're at a third of that cost. I mean, that's what
Right.
companies are going to basically do. That's really where EVs are going to take off. It's really is when can they be exploited by businesses, because especially with Ford, because that's their sales, right? Is the commercial space. It's the fleet vehicles. That's GM, Stellantis. They make a lot of their money from fleet.
Oh yeah, Ford did for years too, for a while,
and they still do. And same thing with GM, Stellantis, right? Ford, GM, Stellantis. All those a lot of their stuff is fleet through, for government, state government, federal government, local government, businesses. So and
you see Toyota and Honda and those companies aren't doing that as much. They just
and they don't, and they can't get in. It's like the reason why people don't use Macs for government work, right? It's all Windows based. So really using a Mac is pointless. So exactly. Toyota rather would have the consumer space and then leave the enterprise space to Ford, GM, Stellantis. So basically, especially in the United States, because again, companies are really sensitive to American built products, even though Stellantis is an American company. They're technically Dutch, but whatever. It still looks like a GM, right? They don't care. It's a GMC, right? It's clearly American. Nah, their parent company's from Holland, but okay, that's fine. Whatever. It's Stellantis, but whatever. So we'll see.
It's I don't know if you've ever seen. There's an episode of the TV show Black Mirror, where it's set in a distant future, and one of the lead actress in the episode, she has to drive to her friend's wedding because she misses her flight. And there's a scene, and this is set again in the future, but she has to rent a car, and they're all, of course, they're all EVs. And basically, the type of car you get is dependent on this popularity score, how much people like you, kind of like rating people through like social media. And there's a scene that reminds me of what Sam said. There's a scene where her score drops considerably low, and she goes to rent a car, and she gets given an older model car because her score is so low, but she can't charge it because she doesn't have the right adapter. And I kind of feel like that might be an unfortunate reality of, if we go into this kind of fleet thing where you have to have or a whole bunch of cars are being sold just for the purposes of rental or whatever, right? But yeah, I'm just curious to kind of see, what happens there in that space. I mean, it makes sense for Ford, a massive car manufacturer, to say, well, we don't want to have to go out and spend billions of dollars to put this all over the world for these cars that we have coming out. Let's use what's already there, right? It kind of harkens back to like USB Type-C and Lightning cable. If you think about Tesla's Apple right now, they have not necessarily not exactly that way, but if the Apple car comes out, are they going to use one of these standards? I mean, it'd be stupid not to. And if not, we know lightning charges.
And then the EU will just come in and say, you can't do anything. You're going to listen to us. But either way, it kind of brings up those kind of vibes. Like, hey, the standard's USB Type-C, but this company is going to use this specific one to keep people reeled in. Cars are different than phones. I get it, but the best thing we do is put wireless charging in our highways and just drive over and be charged all the time. Well,
and they're also discussing that, right? They're discussing,
they're
discussing solar panels. They're talking about photoelectric paint right on the car that basically generates. They're coming up with those options, but I think this is a win for Ford and Tesla for one reason.
For sure.
One, Ford gets to leverage their existing infrastructure and as a standardized, and they're early adopters to a standard. And Tesla likes it because now Ford is the major I think Ford is the leading manufacturer of vehicles in the world.
Yeah.
Right. And so because of this, now Ford is basically giving validation, and like the Tesla they're kind of, in a way, kind of bending the knee to the EV dominance of Tesla, right? They're showing that Tesla is somebody that they want to work with. And Elon Musk is smart enough to go, we got Ford. Right, Toyota, Honda. I mean, these major companies are starting to come on board, and if they can get those on, if 90% of the vehicles that consumers would buy are all in this charging standard, it makes it a homogenous standard, and that's better for them because they don't have to build cars and adapters and different worries. And also better for the consumers, right? Consumers know if I have no matter where I go, I can charge my vehicle properly. Maybe not supercharger, maybe you can have paywalls, if you want to pay for this, but at least they don't have to worry about, I get here and I've got an X adapter and now I've got an A receptacle and now I can't charge, and now I have a negative consumer experience, because these companies want as many people in an EV as possible, as fast as possible.
Yes.
The only way to do that is make it easy for consumers, because right now the only impediment really is price. That's really what it comes down to, and use, right? Because really, if you have, but I mean, right now, if you find out, that's why they're huge in China, because they're selling cars in China for like $1,000, $10,000, and then that's why they're huge in China. And because right now, the reason why you wouldn't buy a Rivian, because it's $100,000. If I had $100,000, I'd be buying I would buy a Mustang Mach 1, and I'd pocket $50,000. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's funny that you bring up the whole like Lightning versus USB-C thing, because I know with the iPhone, we know the upcoming iPhone is meant to be the first iPhone to have USB-C charging, but the EU has actually come out, because I don't know if you remember, we were talking about this a couple of weeks back, how the Apple was planning on limiting the speed of charging to only Apple certified or Apple bought Lightning cables. Yes. So the EU's actually come out and said,
you can't do that.
You can't do that. Yeah, basically, you need to stick to the law. The law says it needs to be uniform across all of your devices, and uniformity being, doesn't matter what USB-C cable you have, you should be still getting the advertised speeds. So I'm very curious, right? I mean, I know we have, with the talk about the latest, iPhone releases hotting up, and there's been leaks and stuff this week. But I'm just curious, it's going to be interesting to see what Apple does here. Like, I could see Apple saying, fuck you, and just going MagSafe and completely omitting the charging port.
No. I think what they're going to do is they're going to make two separate versions, like it did with the Canadian version with the SIM tray and without a SIM tray in the US.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think they're going to make it, because the US, we don't care. We should care, but we don't. I think they're going to make a separate version for the UK. And you know what that means for me? if I get one, I'll be importing one from overseas, because I almost bought a Canadian version one just because I wanted a SIM card tray. It was pain in the ass to get rid of the iPhone Pro 14 Pro Max. It was terrible to get rid of that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I have FirstNet, which is AT&T's service for whatever, government, whatever, it's kind of you want to word it. And they had I was probably on the phone 6 different times over 3 hours just trying to get the SIM card out of it. And like, well, you don't have, and then they had to send me another physical one. And I'm like, you know what? I almost gave up, just kept the damn phone.
Yeah.
Maybe that's Apple's whole thing. Hey, you can't get rid of the phone, so you're going to keep it. I don't know.
But surely that costs more money too, to have to do different versions, right? I mean, it's easy to say, here's our phone to everybody, but to actually have here's version 1, version 2, version 3. I don't know. I feel they've got the money to do it. So
they got the money. Yeah. They're going to make money, so they don't care.
They don't give a fuck. They're like, whatever.
And the USB thing, the USB charging speed might just be a software thing they could switch on and off. And if that's the case, there's going to be some hacks and jailbreaks. And, they're talking about side loading. The EU is trying to get them to be able to side load stuff. I mean, the EU is fighting hard for their people. And I think that's going to trickle down to everyone, which is actually pretty good. But then the question is when is an iPhone no longer an iPhone? Is it going to be another Android device?
Yeah, what are you going to sideload that doesn't already exist in an app? Or is it going to be, maybe it is a hack to get fast charging, or
the last time I've sideloaded on Android was I got that new Lenovo super huge, large tablet. And there are some apps that just won't show up in the Play Store because of the size of the screen. So I sideloaded a couple of security apps just because I know if I sideload them, they would have to work. But the Play Store wouldn't let me download it. But I'm not doing anything illegal. So sideloading isn't that big of an issue for me anymore. Either is rooting. I can't remember the last time I rooted and put a custom ROM on any of my phones in years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that the custom ROMs and flashing ROMs that kind of went away with the HTC and all those other phones and older Pixels when you can do it Nexus devices when you can flash all sorts of builds and ROMs and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah. I was really big in that custom ROM. I used to remember my HTC. I had Android Revolution and AOSP, and Lineage ROMs and all that. Dude, I used to rock the hell out of those. I used to love that kind of stuff. I kind of miss doing it. I almost want to start doing it again, but the support isn't there anymore. It's just kind of a shame.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was also about choice too, right? I mean, you had the option to sideload these things, right?
When your phone stopped getting updates, you could keep getting new versions. But what I loved about the sideloading was rooting is when you put a custom ROM on, they'd say, "Oh, we didn't have drivers for the microphone, so your microphone won't work," or "Hey, your camera won't work this time, so you had to wait for
your
the
modem,
build.
your radios for your modem don't work. You have to flash the entire different build of your modem." It's like, oh shit!
And then flashing was a pain. Yes.
Flash the wrong modem, and you're like, damn it.
Recovery mode. Here we go.
Soft brick them. Oh yeah, the days of messing with that are kind of. I gotta miss that. It was kind of like nerve wracking because then you get it, you load it up, you be excited, like that's the EU version. Ah, damn it! I have the wrong version.
Then you get the little Android guy with his belly open and in the background,
or just soft, or just boot loops. Oh yeah, the boot loops.
And I wonder how many people bricked their phones doing that because
I bricked an HTC One M8 for sure. I bricked it. It was like gone. I toasted it.
Yeah. The good old days, right? When you had that choice. All right. Speaking of Google, it's funny that you mentioned them as well because I don't know if you saw there was an article that came out yesterday talking about how they were fined $32 million for infringing on a Sonos patent. So I don't know if you saw a couple of months back there was an article about how Google was in a bit of trouble with their smart displays. So the point of contention was that with the Nest speakers, you could pair them up and play music at the same time.
Correct.
And so along comes Sonos, a company that's been doing that exact thing for a number of years. And basically, Sonos took them to court and said, you know what, we've been doing this for years. You stole our proprietary technology and you are no longer allowed to do that. And I believe as of this week, you're no longer allowed to do that on Google Nest devices where you can stream music to multiple speakers. Or maybe, I don't know if it's happened yet, but it will happen soon.
So here's my thing. From what I've read, there was like 8 lawsuits altogether or 8 contentions. And this was the only one that Sonos actually won. And Google could very easily remedy this in 2 ways. They could either pay the licensing fee of $1.78 per unit or whatever it was, or just buy Sonos. I don't say they would go for it, but they have the money to do it.
Seriously.
The other question I have is, it's not like Google and Sonos are the only companies that do this. My question is Apple's technology that much different, or are they paying a licensing fee already?
That's a good question because I wondered the same thing.
Is Google just being an ass because they don't want to do it? I don't know.
Honestly, I think it's Google being cheap. I think they're like, fuck it, no one's gonna know. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, what's the worst that can happen? They'll try
I got an idea.
For a couple of months.
Let me call Delvon, since he works for them, since he can't be here today. We'll call him on the phone. He's an employee. Maybe he can give us a little more insight into that.
Well, I don't know if Delvon's still listening, but I mean, look, it's possible, right? I mean, anything's possible, but I just find it kind of interesting. I mean, $32.5 million is not. I mean, to Google it's probably not that much, but fuck, it's enough. Like, that's
a pretty healthy amount for
a company like Google.
It's not necessarily just the money. It's just really the fact that they kind of got smacked in court a little bit. You know what I mean? That's kind of like,
Well, goodbye, Pixel Fold. All the money we used for it is now gone. So it's canceled.
All the money people spent for sales, the sales went right to paying off your loan. That's okay. Honestly,
I just don't.
In the grand scheme of things.
I don't know. I think it's one of those things where
it's going to be a lot for them.
No, but their engineering prowess is way beyond Sonos, I would imagine. At least they should be. And you would think they can just pay the licensing fee. They can't figure it out or come up with a different way. I don't know. Maybe I'm way out of my league because I'm not an engineer. But Apple's got to be doing it with theirs. So what are they doing?
Okay, so there's 200 patents that Google infringed upon. And they only won one, and it happened to be the streaming to multiple speakers. So I don't know if the other ones were dismissed. I'm assuming that maybe Google, they got around it somehow. But, I mean, you're right. I mean, all these other companies are doing it. Samsung's doing it. Apple's doing it. Like, you're telling me, like, it makes me wonder, right? Like, did they just kind of say, hey, we want to borrow this technology. Here's a couple of $100 million. We'll mention your name in the leaflet inside the iPhone or the Nest speaker or whatever.
The pamphlet,
what's it called? The Hub Max, the pamphlet. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of makes you wonder, right? I mean, 32 Google lost. I mean, it doesn't happen very often. These big tech companies, losing, an infringement thing through courts of law. But again, $32.5 million. It's not a little bit of pocket money. It's a fair.
Here, I'll show you. I got some. I got it in my wallet right now. I got 33 million.
Perfect.
I rounded up. No, but my thing is like, you've heard Sonos speakers, correct? I'm sure.
Yeah.
They sound amazing. Could you imagine a Google Assistant version of that?
Yes.
That would be fantastic. Google, if you're not listening, but if you are, I think you should go ahead and just swoop up Sonos and get all those patents right in your hands so we can keep moving.
Even just a collab. a collab would be amazing. Like a
Oh, they're not going to
Sonos,
collab. Oh
speaker.
no, they hate each other right now.
Yeah, oh, you're right. Now they do, but I mean, maybe one day in the near future they can learn to get along, right? That's kind of the.
I think the CEO came out and said, "Hey, hey Google, if you don't like Google, just buy your grandma a Sonos speaker." I think it's that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I was going to ask you guys. I know here in Canada we have a lot of problems with robocallers, right? Where they call you up and ask if you want to buy insurance or I don't know, fucking duct cleaning or
everything else.
Everything else, right? So I don't know if you guys saw. I'm just going to put up this on screen here so you guys can have a look. But so one of the companies responsible for 7.5 billion robocalls has been sued by nearly every attorney general. So basically, this company, I believe they're called Avid, off the top of my head, Avid Telecom, which basically were responsible for all of these people calling.
Where are they based out of?
Arizona, I believe.
Wow, that was dumb.
Right here,
they should have been overseas.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have got caught.
So right. So basically, this came out today. So the reason they got in so much trouble here is, or one of the reasons why they are in so much trouble is that they were actually making these calls to people on the Do Not Call registry. So for those of you who don't know, there's a national Do Not Call registry. You can register your number, which basically means that robocallers are not supposed to call you. But this company came out and went, hey, we're going to do things a little differently, and we're going to do it anyway. So basically, they made 197 million robocalls on a 5-year period to these people on the National Do Not Call registry. And basically, the attorney generals are coming after him, saying, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna really hurt you on this one. Saying that they were fined $300 million last year. But apparently these guys are coming after him saying, we're coming for you. Like, this is going to be bad. Is this enough to stop robocalls?
No. This is like the war on drugs. We're never going to end it. It's like I shouldn't say this, but it's like terrorists. When the whole 9/11 thing happened, we went after one guy, and yes, we did it. We got it done, but there's still terrorists out there. So this is great for America because this is an American-based company, and I guess it's gonna. Obviously, it might help a little bit, but there's so many companies out there. It's like you cut one head off, another one's gonna come out. It's I don't know. I maybe I'm just pessimistic, but I think it's one of those things where it looks good on paper. Hey, look, we can show this what we're doing on the TV, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to change much of anything.
Like, so just like for context here, I'm in Toronto, and a lot of the robocalls we get, no word of a lie, for duct cleaning. Like to come out and clean your furnace and clean out your ducts. That's I reckon maybe
siding. Well, that's siding.
Yeah, 80% of them. Right, 80% of the calls I get at home are for duct cleaning. When we first moved into this home here, we used to get them a lot, and then I would get increasingly more frustrated. I would tell them that I don't have ducts, a furnace. I would tell them that I live in a colonial house that only has a fireplace. I tried everything. I basically said I don't have any of the things you're talking about. Please don't call here, but yet the calls keep coming. What's it like there in the States? Like, what are they calling you for the most? What's the most common?
It's mostly home stuff, so like siding, roofs, windows, stuff like that. I get those calls. Actually, I don't get a lot of those calls, honestly. I don't know what it is. I know my wife seems to get a lot of those calls.
It depends on
I don't know. I mean, I've also spent a lot of time saying, put them. I register with the state of Missouri and the federal Do Not Call list, so maybe that helps a little bit. Yeah. Maybe not great, but maybe it helps. I don't know. I don't get as many as a lot of my daughter gets them all the time. So various stuff, basically.
Yeah. And what about you, Tuna?
I actually get a lot on my work phone, which is really weird. And it's always like, hey, we found your car. Okay, you don't know I have a car. This is the wrong number. My thing is what's come out of all this robocall stuff is that no one answers their phone anymore unless they recognize a number. It's simple as that. Because as of now, I have 5-6 phones and I can swap between them. But a lot of them have separate SIMs. So my family doesn't even answer my phone calls anymore because they're like, we don't know the number. And that's pretty common. I mean, I guess it's not a big deal because most people don't have 16 lines. But I mean, it's sad that if it's blocked or if it's a number you don't recognize, even my work phone, I won't answer it if it's a 1-800 number because I get numbers. It says Hawaii. Why would someone from Hawaii be calling my work phone?
You shouldn't
be calling.
Maybe you want a trip.
Yeah, not with my work number. It wouldn't be like.
Yeah. I mean, what if it was? What if it was the trip that you always wanted to Hawaii and now you can't have it anymore?
Right? You know what? Then what I don't know won't hurt me.
Yeah, well, that's it, right? I mean, Tuna's next YouTube video is going to be him lying on a beach in a hammock in Hawaii, talking about how he answered a robocall and he ended up here.
With my Dyson headphones on so people can stare at me funny in my
headphones on, yes. Yes.
We're never calling this guy again. He's creepy as hell. What the hell?
Well, hey, if that mask can kind of, pop open a bottle, that'd be kind of neat. I mean,
it's plastic. I don't think it's going to handle it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So there's a great YouTube video called, and you can look this up. It was actually a TED Talk, but the title of it is "This is what happens when you reply to a spam email." And the guy, the presenter, I forget his name off the top of my head, but basically he received a lot of spam emails, which is the equivalent of a robocall. And he decided to reply. And he started a conversation between himself and these people who are sending these spam emails. And if you haven't seen it, it's about a 10-minute video. It's on, again, YouTube. It's called "This is what happens when you reply to spam email." But, people do like to mess with robocallers and spam emailers. And, it turns into some great laughs a lot of the time. I mean, my wife always yells at me and gets upset with me when I say bizarre shit to them. I'll be like, if I become frustrated or mean, she'll say, "Oh, that's just their job. It's what they're being paid to do." And I get it. I mean, there've been a few times where I've said I've given them some colorful suggestions on what they can do with their duct cleaning.
Some colorful metaphors you did?
Some colorful metaphors, yes, for what they can do with their duct cleaning.
The difference between robocalls and then scam calls, like the ones in India where they're trying to get money out of old people. Like, have you ever seen those videos? Yes. There's a guy, I forget his name. He goes up to India, he hacks their computer, you can see the it's hilarious. But it's still sad that he takes down one building, but there's millions of those people out there making hundreds of thousands of dollars off tons of people. But I will tell you this. I got an email this morning, and I will be on it. You guys need to round of applause. I actually just helped an Egyptian prince with $1,100. So he's not in trouble anymore. My bank keeps calling me, but I just ignore it. So,
did you have to give your social insurance number or my
social security number?
Social
insurance number. Yeah, just keep going.
Well, that's what it's called here in Canada, right?
So
they also have loonies and toonies in Canada, which doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, it does when it was explained to me.
If they ask for my social,
I went to drink and they're like, "Hey, we want to play Czechs ball hockey." It's like, "Oh, it takes loonies, eh?" I'm like,
"Yeah."
I don't know what that is. And he's like, "There's a $1 coin. It's got a loon on it." I went, "Oh." So I would play Czechs
right.
And then I had something else, and I said, "Well, there's a machine that says $2." I'm like, "But do I just put two of these loon things in?" He's like, "Oh no, bud, you got to put in a toonie."
Yeah.
I was like, "You know what? I swear to God, I think you're making this up. Like as you go along, you're just fucking with an American." He's like, "No, but I swear to God, it's like a sandwich coin, right? It's got a little kind of copper center." That's whatever. It's literally a $2 coin. It's a loony and a toonie. I'm like, okay, and a 2-4 and all that. Whatever. I swear you guys are speaking English, but I don't understand.
Loony and toonie. I saved the prince, so whatever.
There you go. For tat, I mean, when are you getting your $10 million to your bank account? Like, when's that?
It's kind of up in the air. Like I said, my bank keeps calling and I haven't been answering because I've been busy with this live stream. So I don't know if they're just saying, "Hey, you got a lot of money sitting there," or "Hey, your money's not there anymore." I don't know.
Well, yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, with $10 million, you could buy a shit ton of Dyson headphones. I mean, that's enough for the whole crew.
Or some Anchor earbuds.
There you go.
A lot more Anchor earbuds too. Yeah, for sure. Look, if I had $10 million, I would buy Sam those Dyson headphones and just to see him wear it once.
Just once.
Yeah, I would put one. I would put one.
Yeah, of course you would.
Yeah. You look
I almost,
yes, clearly. I don't care.
I don't care.
I almost
If I would
wonder
walk
if
around
those
talking like
Dyson
Bane, I'd be
headphones-
like, hello, yeah, good with a mask. I'd be like,
I put them on and I was in the basement and I was making the video for him and I went upstairs and my wife goes, "What?" First thing she said goes, "What the hell's on your face?" How do you
look
answer
like
that?
They could take a bullet. They literally look like they could take a bullet. Like they're so thick. Like that's real metal too, if I'm not mistaken.
on the ear cuffs, but the mask
you
part,
guys-
I'm pretty sure bullets going right through that damn thing.
So do you remember when Will.i.am during the COVID came out with his super mask?
Yes.
I got those sent to me for free. They're like $500, something stupid.
Yes.
I wore those to work just as a joke, and oh my god! So if I wear these to work, I don't know if people will take me seriously. I got a small suspicion I won't be taken seriously at work. I just throwing it out there.
Don't give Tuna any more reports. He's
Well, listen, it's funny. that
CPS
you-
reports.
Speaking of headphones and Will.i.am, we know Will.i.am's really into sound and audio, and
He's in
I
the
want
tech
to
a lot.
I want to show you, and I know this may be the funniest video on YouTube, or at least it's funny to me. So a couple of years back, Will.i.am was on Entertainment Tonight. That we have a Canadian variant of Entertainment Tonight, still called Entertainment Tonight, but just for Canadian stories.
Nicer.
But he was asked,
Right.
yeah, he was asked to remix the Entertainment Tonight theme song.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Now I'm going to show you this, and I want you to appreciate this for what it
Hold
is,
on.
because it's,
When did it come out? Is Fergie going to be there too? Because I don't want to hear it.
No. This is just
Okay.
Will.i.am on his own, doing his
Okay.
own thing. But so when I say to you, Will.i.am was asked to remix the Entertainment Tonight theme song. What do you think when I say those words? Are you thinking like he's going to remix the song, so the audio is going to be different? Would that be the general thoughts you would have?
Yeah, something is going to be. Yes.
Sure. Yeah, I would think so.
So I remember watching this episode, and I remember thinking, okay, he's going to change up the music. Great. Let's see what the opening credits look like. I could not have prepared myself for what I was about to see. For the rest of you who are watching this or are at home, enjoy this for what it is.
Before you play it, it's just. Are you
Yes.
playing this just because I brought up Will.i.am?
No. So it was funny.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about Will.i.am because he's really big into the audio space, and you just jogged
Correct.
my memory. But
Okay.
I think this is worth seeing. This may be the greatest video you ever see. For the rest of you who are watching, you're welcome, and enjoy.
Oh boy. Jesus, I can't watch it. Okay. No.
Wow.
Oh, that was. You know what? I was mad at first, but you know what? I need a
You're
copy
welcome.
of that.
You're welcome.
You know, I don't know what's worse, the music or his dancing. I don't know what the hell
All
he
of
did. Seizure.
Why
all
was
of
he
it.
dancing?
Everything.
Why
It's
was
terrible.
he there? Like,
They
I
told
don't
him-
understand.
They're like, you're being in front of this green screen. Act like you're bumping to your new music.
Yes, honestly. Like the funniest 2 minutes of video on YouTube. All right,
It's
look
not
that
even
up.
it's 42 seconds of the one of the
42
most awful
seconds.
thing I've ever seen.
It felt like 2 minutes. What are you talking about?
If that was 2 minutes, I would have killed myself.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I
Well,
feel
first
like
I would
that
have
should
killed
be.
Will.i.am, and then
Yeah. I feel like that should be the theme song for TNT moving forward. I mean, I'm going to have
Here's
all
what
you
I'll do.
guys
Hey,
dance.
look, I have some connection at Dyson, so maybe I can call Will.i.am. Hey, I need to do a remix.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's
So, I can tell you this much, if
great.
that becomes a podcast, you can forget about me ever showing up on that.
Okay, here, I got a better
Listen,
idea.
We got
Sam,
you all to
hold
dance
on.
in front
Unless it's Tuna going. Then
Yeah.
maybe I'll show.
No. Sam, I got a better idea. How about you do a remix, but I want you to dance in front of a green screen, all right?
of. Yes.
No,
I'd pay money for that. I'll get music made. I will pay for the rights for whatever song Sam wants. We'll make that the theme for TNT moving forward.
God.
But
was
What would
that-
the song
listen,
be?
I mean,
What would the song be?
guess my question is, did he have to do that like on the fly, like while he's actually on the show, or is it like
I don't know?
Because if that's on the fly, I can give it a little bit more of a pass. But if that was, as he went back to a studio and came up that on his own and like that's a prep thing, that's terrible. Oh my god!
Well, I think the music was probably already done. I can't imagine he did that on the fly. But the dancing, I mean, that was choreographed for years. You could tell that is some high class. Oh, you gotta do it again, don't you?
I won't play the music again, but in the background you're gonna have for those of you who are seeing it for the first time. I honestly think this is my favorite video on YouTube. It's hard
if you go back, if you go back, he's going like. See this? He's going like this.
That's how a white person would dance.
I think he's in his. Right now? I think he's in his car trying to get truckers to blow their horn. So he's doing like when you're a kid, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm the only one who did that.
I find it funny, like Tuna said, like it's in front of the green screen. Like, what did they say to him? Hey, Will.i.am, we want you to dance in front of a green screen to the song that you remixed for us, and we're gonna play that as our theme song for the.
How long ago was that? How long ago was that?
A few years back. I think it was like 2017, 18, maybe.
So here's the deal. The good news is he was like, "It's Canada, no one's gonna know," and probably no one did. So he brought it up.
Now everybody knows. You're welcome, world. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. The best 47 seconds of your life was just heard there, but anyway. Well, listen, guys, on that note, I think that's probably the best way to end tonight's podcast. I'm going to go work on our own version myself. I'm going to figure out some, white guy dance moves, which will probably just be me doing this to a song with a green screen with a TNT logo behind it. Yeah, maybe one of these.
You gotta pull the. You gotta get the trucker to play this horn, and you gotta clap your hands.
Yeah. So listen, I'm going to post up that video up on Twitter today. So, for those of you who are catching this, posthumously, post TNT Podcast, if you're wondering what the reference is, please make sure you listen to the TNT Podcast so that you can have some context.
But if you're listening to this before you watch that, please drink heavily before you watch that 42-second clip. Yeah. That might help. I'm just putting that out there as a possibility. Yeah, I want to have a couple.
Tuna's already drunk. He's been drinking the whole podcast.
Yeah,
I've had one drink.
It's a little tough to get through as
a
individual. Just putting that out.
Tuna, I know you love your craft beers. If I think that's probably an accurate way to say that. We have so many craft beers that Tuna drinks. If one of those sponsors is listening to us, we're here. We already have Bobby the Coffee Guy, who's our welcome coffee sponsor for the channel.
Fantastic coffee.
We would love.
It is good coffee. I would like to ask Bobby a question. Can we get some whole bean?
Whole bean, yes.
I agree.
Because I grind my own.
You can grind it. You can put it in one of these. They have those adapters too.
Yeah.
I mean.
I don't think we lost Sam.
He must be caught up in that video.
Yes, he went back. We crashed Sam's computer successfully. We rickrolled him, I guess is what you could call it there. Yes, we lost him there, but I think we lost Sam. I don't know what happened there, but okay. Sam was saying we need some whole bean coffee. Yes, Bobby, if you're listening, we would love some whole bean coffee. And anyone else that follows Tuna's YouTube channel or his Twitter account, we would love to have some beer sponsors. We would love to have any sponsors. To be honest with you. Tuna would love to have some makeup, clothing, name it. Whatever makes life easy.
Right.
Yes, we will leave the unfortunate frozen scream of sand there. I think he's just ducked out and disappeared there. But whole bean coffee, amazing. Anyone that's listening. And again, guys, thank you very much for joining us. We're here every Sunday. Sometimes we're early, sometimes we're late. Just depends on how we're feeling. But I appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Tuna. And we will be back next week with some more latest and greatest tech news, YouTube videos, Will.i.am references, and terrible headphones. Thank you very much for everybody that's listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys. Peace. Bye.